All right, so first things first, Ashley, take me through this whirlwind of a fall. It was not only for the team, I know for you coming in, joining the group, dominating. I know you won't want to say that, but we'll say it was kind of a dominant performance sort of thing. We'll go step by step, OUAs, U Sports, so on and so forth. But first, for the folks who were getting used to and getting to know you in this group this year, how much fun did you have this fall? Because it looked like any particular race, anybody could be the number one. Anybody could be outside of the fact that you guys won pretty much everything. That had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, it was amazing just to be part of something so dominant and always to be in the race and you just saw purple around you. Like you always knew your teammates were like with you. And like even every single workout, it was just like we were together, like pushing each other. And it just felt like you had all the support around you every single practice, every single day. And that's what I feel like made the season so special because, like you said, it really did feel like I wasn't only doing it for myself, but I was like doing it for the team. So every step that I took and like pushing myself, I was like, it's to achieve the bigger goals of everybody. So I'd say it just made that more fun too. Like it, because sometimes I feel like we get caught up in our sport a little bit and just the seriousness of it and like the motions of it. But I feel like we were all really looking forward to the meets and excited about like the opportunity to perform for Western.
I know in the start of the season, the Vigorous Salters, you guys go out and win that, and it felt like there was some pretty good momentum early on. Did it feel like it from the onset that there was something special happening right from the get go, sort of thing?
Yeah, like, I remember I was even talking to Sophie and Chloe Coots in the summer, and we were just saying, like, "We'll we have an opportunity to do something big this year if we all stay healthy," the biggest thing. Everyone stays healthy and, we just work with each other and, focus on November. I think that's the biggest thing because it is a long season, it's a long races, so I think the biggest thing was keeping our eyes on, like, the bigger picture of, like, OUAs and U Sports and not getting, like, caught up in pushing ourselves and potential injuries, which I've had a lot in my earlier years of university running. So I think that was a big thing. But yeah, I think just looking towards those long term goals and knowing the stepping stones towards getting there with everybody, we knew what we were capable of if we put ourselves in that position.
Obviously, the season is shorter, especially because there's kind of a few meets, and then all of a sudden OUAs is here. Let's go first to OUAs, and the fact is, not only did you guys win, but obviously you finished second. There, you and Olivia are literally like right with each other, as you said, the purple, but everywhere. It was literally the two of you right there together. The entire starting five, is first team all-stars because you guys finished in the top 7. How special was that race for how well you guys what was the preparation like, and was the preparation like the execution?
Yeah. Honestly, I keep like telling my mom too. I'm like, I wish I could just keep reliving that moment with them because I crossed the line. I was like, it was like beyond what I could have imagined for the day. Like my expectations, like I don't know, totally blew myself as a team, like going through it, like running through the line next to Olivia. And Guy actually has this really cool picture, and it's all of us coming down the hill, and you can see all top five, like all five of us running down the hill, like in the finishing chute. So just seeing that and just knowing that like that spread, it was just honestly magical just having that moment. I honestly think we prepared so well for it. Just the variety of our training, playing to like obviously our strengths as well as our weaknesses, because all of us kind of excel in different types of workouts, like more like tempo stuff versus health stuff. So, and I think that course at OU's really gave a variety. Like it had the flat, fast areas, it had hills, which we didn't as much have in Kelowna. That was a very, very flat course. But I think OU's really felt like cross country. I know coming from the States and coming back here, it felt so good to be like on a real Canadian cross country course again. So I think that's what made it like so special and like grinding up those hills, like we were prepared for that, mentally and physically prepared for it. So just having that like mentality in it all was
And
very good.
just because of the whole Western Queens rivalry, we have to drive in the fact that you guys 23 points, which is like, I think almost, if not a program record, it's got to be close. And oh, by the way, Queens was second with 65. So, I know you're new to this whole rivalry thing, but we just kind of have to dig it in there a little bit.
Of course.
You mentioned Victoria, obviously U Sports. You guys go in there. You finish seventh, so you're in that first. You get that nice little first team thing going on. Now, not a bad, kind of humble brag point, right? You mentioned the fact different course, a little more flat, but still, you guys, even in that situation, you guys still incredible 60-point finish, 25 points clear of UBC. How well did that race go? And you mentioned the difference between OUAs and U Sports, but it just shows the versatility of the group kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. The U Sports course went out so fast. And honestly, I'm one that sometimes I go out a little bit too fast and I get a little excited. But that course, I was like, okay, I really want to get in a good spot. And we weren't slowing down. I think all of us got a personal best through the 6K even in that course. I know I did. So it was pretty exciting. But no, it was just like, I don't know, it went by so fast through it all. But the course was really nice because there was so much room for just people out there cheering and stuff. And I saw people from like my hometown there. Guy and Scott were all over the course. Like I don't even know. And Janet and Tammy. So honestly, just everywhere you had a person like pushing you to like pass another person, especially seeing UBC. It was always like, Scott's like, you got one more point, get a couple there. So I think that made it really special. And I even like to throw in a couple hay bales in there. So, made it a little more exciting.
I was going to say, I remember seeing the pictures of the hay bales and going, that's a new wrinkle I haven't seen as many times, I don't think.
Yeah, there will be no steeplechase in my future, I don't think.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention Guy winning Coach of the Year, mainly because we both know he would be annoyed at us for mentioning the fact of his Coach of the Year award, and we like to give him love every now and then because he likes to give a few jabs here and there, but we still like him. What makes Guy so special, and why was he obviously deserving of the fact that to win a Coach of the Year award on the national level?
I think Guy is just he's such a like well-rounded coach, and getting to know us personally and caring about like our goals on and off like the track and the grass. So I think that's the biggest thing. He really tailors the training to everyone so specifically because a lot of us in the past have like had a lot of injuries. So he's so good about like making sure that like our recovery is there. Like we need to cross train when we do, like preventing anything from spearing up. And also he's just so approachable. Like I know I can like call him up and he'll meet with me like within the day and just sit down with me and just check in with me on that. But he also has that side that he pushes us and he believes in our goals, and we're not alone in that. He's like, these are the steps that we're going to do to get there. And so I think like as a team, he really brings us all together in that. Yeah. And just such a personable person, and knowing beyond running, like that we are people and like school comes first, but also we're very serious about the sport. So I think he's really great at creating that balance, but also, like I said, making things personal to us in order to, help us excel as runners.
You mentioned the fact that you were in the States, you came back to Canada this year. We always hear so much about people saying, I think I might want to go down there. You came back and did absolutely fantastic, made a huge impact for the team. How much was it enjoyable to come back to Canada and run this year and be a part of the program this year?
Yeah, honestly, it was amazing coming like back home, being so close to home, having my like old club coaches see me in races, seeing my family be able to come to more races, just being a lot more locally. And also super random, but I really liked the 8K because I was running a 6K in the States, and sometimes it felt like a little bit of a sprint, but I kind of like the grind of the 8K. So that was pretty exciting for me. At first I was like, ooh, I'm scared, like another 2K, but honestly, I really enjoyed it this year. But no, I think seeing so many familiar faces from high school as well, just like at all the schools honestly across Canada. Like I ran with a lot of girls that go to UBC now, as well as like Queens, McMaster, like you name it. And like we all know each other even through like the track club season in the summer. So I think it was just great seeing that like familiarity with everyone. And also everyone's just so happy for each other. Honestly, cross country is just such a family among like all runners. Like I just honestly such the person. I don't know if it's the personality of runner, but I don't know. It's just always great seeing everyone from like any school around. So it was. I couldn't have asked for anything more.
This is obviously a short stint for you as a Mustang. I know you come to Western, that all that aspect, but do you feel like you got everything out of it? I know that you were hoping to get out of it. I know you still got, there's still its educational side of things and so on and so forth, but the cross country portion of it, at least, did you feel like you got everything you were looking for out of it, sort of thing?
No, I really did. I think I wrote down like all my goals going into the season, and I think I got most of it coming to fruition. So, no, I was really happy. I feel like I finally got to a place in cross country. I always like knew I could. I think in the past I struggled with a lot of like injuries, and so I really just wanted to have a consistent cross country season where I made it to the end, knowing that like all the work that I had gone up to, I didn't have any like roadblocks that really brought me back. I had a little bit of illness in between it, a little sick, but no injury wise. So I think just having like all the work and the build throughout the season, just be able to build on it was the biggest thing. So no, this is honestly the best end like a university cross country career I could have asked for. And just being able to do it like at home made it like even more special.
Yeah, I see a shelf behind you. Do you have to get a bigger shelf for like the amount of medals and stuff this year? Because I felt like every week I was writing your name a time or two again, sort of thing, and kind of saying, she's kind of having a big year, sort of thing.
Yeah, actually, I just got home yesterday and my mom made like a little she got like a little case for my like three medals this year and she got them all labeled and so that was really special. She's like, "Did you go to your room yet?" And I was like, "No, not yet." And I walked downstairs and I saw it. So that was just really special because like, I feel like those three medals mean like it's like 10 plus years of work put into like one little case. So it's coming all together. But no, honestly, just so special seeing them and just knowing all the work, not only this year, but since I've started running, coming through cross country, because it was always my first love.
Absolutely. Well, a fantastic year. Thank you so much for doing this and taking a few minutes of your time during the quote unquote downtime. And congratulations on an awesome season. And
Thank you.
we appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, sir. Guy Schultz, our head coach of the cross country team. Guy, we talk quite often about you and your cross country group and the passion you have for this group. I know for you, I remember talking in the summer, and you said, "I think this group is going to be really good." Did you have any? Does a sense at the end of the season go back to the start of the season and say you were on to something at that point? Because clearly this team was really good. Are you happy with the result, obviously, of where you started and where you finished?
Yeah, last year we were second at nationals, and that entire group minus one Heidi returned this year. And then we picked up a few amazing recruits, Ashley Maguire being one of them as a transfer from the NCAA's, and then EJ Boston, who has come to grad school from U of T. So adding those two to our team made our team that much better even than last year. So we had a lot of expectations for them to finally win this year. I think in the last 4 years we were second, fourth, second. So if we weren't going to win this year, it was going to be a little harder in the future.
Take us through the start of the season, obviously for you guys, it starts right here, your home course, with the Vigorous Salters Invitational. This is the year where you guys do the double victory. Both the men's team and the women's team wins that event. First time I remember I would have to say we have to call Bob, because Bob would tell us the exact year and the exact date and so on and so forth. But take us back to that race. Was that an indication early on of just how good both of your teams are going to be this year, and especially with the way your women's team obviously dominated throughout the season?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. If you want history, you go back to Bob. But the interesting part is Bob texts me or calls me pretty much after every competition we go to. And he said, "Did you know this is the first time the men and women have won on the same at the same time on the same day?" So yeah, that was amazing. Yes, we haven't really had a chance and been lucky enough, I would say, to have like our full team racing at the Western Invite. As you said, it's pretty early. It's only a couple weeks into the season. So this year we had everybody on the line, and except for Ashley Maguire again, who had to be at a family funeral. Her grandmother passed away, so she couldn't race that day. But minus her, probably um, the I would say probably the most complete team we've had in a long time compete for us at the Western Invite on both sides. So yes, that definitely gave us an indication. Obviously, winning both men and women's team championship was pretty amazing for us.
Uh, I know you just mentioned obviously Ashley being away from the team for a family element for you. We were talking about this just before we started recording today. You have some very distinct philosophies with the group about how to do things and how you're going to approach the team for the year. Do you mind sharing those with us? Because that's especially from the coaching side of things, you're not only just looking out for your athletes from a performance perspective. You're talking to your athletes all the time. They say Guy cares about us as not only an athlete, but more so a person. And that's obviously very important to you.
Yes. So at the beginning of the year, when we have our team meeting after we select the team, I tell them that I want them to look at things when they come here as a student athlete in four different ways. So number one is themselves. So if they're not taking care of themselves, they're not going to do well in school, and they're not going to do well in their running, and probably with families and friends. Number two is family and friends. You only have one set of family and a few really good people that you can call good friends. Ashley, example, her grandmother passed away, and I said to her, you're only going to get to see your grandmother one more time, but you're going to have many more cross country races to do. So it would be best if you go see your grandmother one last time. And then number three is school, and then number four is their running.
And you would think, especially, I'm sure you've heard the stories in the past where I'm sure a lot of sometimes coaches in sports, they kind of flip that the other way around. Sports is supposed to come first and then trail it on the other way. So obviously, the method has been working for you, sort of thing, in the last few years. Obviously, let's move right to OUAs. I know the team has done well the last couple of years at OUAs. Couple of banners now, sort of thing. What went so well at OUAs again this year, or was it just the fact that I know you've said it a bunch of times that we've got your starting five, even your starting seven sometimes could be your starting five, and anybody inside of that starting five could lead the pack, kind of thing.
Yeah, our strength this year definitely was anybody actually almost in our starting seven can be our number one runner on a given day. And the team went into the competition not wanting to change much from the regular season. In the regular season, the goal was just to go run and get up at the front as a team and try to work together and finish as well as they could as a team. And they went into the OUAs with the same thinking. Um, you know, get up front as much as you can and work as a team and move up in the race and try to finish best as a team. And there was one even example in the race where Sandra fell back a bit in the race, and Olivia yelled back at her, and Olivia was in front of her saying, "You need to get back up here, Sandra." And the interesting part was, like, I think Sandra went from uh, you know, 11th or 12th at that point and moved up into the top 7 by the time she got to the finish. So it was really neat to see that team perspective rather than worrying how they did individually.
Uh, 23 points at OUAs. That's got to be close to record level numbers for the fact that, for those who don't understand cross country, the lower the number, it's like golf. It's the lower the number, the better. And you guys are 23 points, and Queens was at 65. So, how exponential and how fantastic was it to see that kind of scoring from your entire team?
That was amazing, and I think it's the second lowest best score ever. I think Guelph has the record at 19. They just had their top 2 or 3, or actually their top 5 finished a little, or sorry, their top 4 finished a little better than our top 4. Um, So yeah, that was just amazing to see. Like, they worked really well in the second half of the race to move up into the top 7. I think for a while we had 2 or 3 of them that were in the top 12. So to move up there, one of my favorite photos from the finish is that as the finish was a downhill finish, and you can see about 100 meters up on the photo, and you can see our 5 top finishers in the same photo coming towards the finish line. So that was pretty amazing to see.
And then Ashley and Olivia are literally like almost right next to each other right at the finish, because it's like absolute thousandths of a second between the difference between kind of their finish there. And then you guys go out to BC for U Sports. I know talking to your athletes, they said it was a stark difference from what they're used to for a vigorous Salters, where it's very hilly, and this one, and they said it was extremely flat, which they weren't exactly used to. But once again, dominant performance, come out with the win. 60 points this time, 25 clear of UBC, which it seems like that was always a big competition the last few years, you guys and UBC. So to come away with that win had to be big.
Yes, it was amazing. Last year, UBC came to our home meet or came to London when we hosted U Sports and beat us on our home course. So it was nice to go to UBC, which is technically UBC Okanagan, and beat them in BC. So, and even the coach for UBC, we went back and forth, and we congratulated them last year, and he did the same for us this year. So that was nice to see.
Hey, good sportsmanship, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know
I think both teams made each other better, because we knew what we needed. We needed to work really hard this year to still beat UBC, and the women took on that challenge this year.
I know for you, you don't want to showcase the fact that you were coach of the year, but I know it's coaching for you. It's coaching staff of the year. It's your group of coaches, because you told me right afterwards when I said congratulations on coach of the year, and you said there was a nice photo of your coaching staff together, and that was extremely important to you to not only just have the trophy but have it to showcase with your group. How much did it mean to get that coach of the year, and then and obviously share that with your coaching team?
It's always nice to win Coach of the Year. It just reflects on all the hard work we do to get our team ready. And as you said, I'm lucky to have an amazing team of coaches that help me, with Scott McDonald, Janet Takahashi, and Tammy Sheffer. Without them, it would be very hard to make sure that we're taking care, especially of all our athletes on an individual basis. And having them there at my side makes this all much easier and so much better when we're celebrating at the end.
And then obviously, I know for you, just because cross country season finishes, it doesn't mean that the year's over and you relax. There's your the other elements you do in our sports and rec team, but obviously then you move on to track and field now as well. I think we have to kind of have a quick chat of if the cross country team has done this well this year. I know not everybody goes cross country straight to track and field, but are we expecting the distance team to do pretty well on the track and field side of things this year too?
Yeah, that's the hope. Our goal this year, last year, the track team won both the men and women's OUA championships for the first time together. And then the women went on to finish second and the men fourth at U Sports. This year, we want to win both the OUAs and more importantly, win U Sports. And Our team, cross-country team, distance runners are definitely ready to help the team win that championship this year.
And how tough is it in a scenario when you've got when you talked about the fact that your team did so well this year? It's got to be tough because it almost feels like you've got 5 or 6 MVPs of your team, and then the fact is you've got some graduating athletes, but are we expecting some youth movement to come into the team for kind of the next year or two sort of thing?
Yes, this year we had an excellent recruiting, brought in a bunch of male and female amazing recruits on our team. So yes, I think between the men and women on the distance side, we have something like 14 athletes graduating. So it was important for us to recruit this year and bring on some um, younger ones to help us continue our success in the near future. So I'm very excited with the recruits we brought on this year. I think they're definitely, with the other the senior athletes graduating, they're going to be able to jump in and hopefully continue our success.
Well, Guy, I know it's the quote unquote downtime for the sport side of things, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes of your time, and congratulations again on Coach of the Year. I know we like to point it out every now and then just to give you some props and have some fun. So congrats to you, congrats to the team, and thanks for doing this.
Thank you.